Welcome to the Registered Investment Advisor Podcast, where financial services marketing expert Seth Green interviews experts, executives, and top producers to share can't-miss tips on how they successfully manage their financial service firms, grow their businesses, create great relationships, and influence the industry. And now, here's your host.
Today, I have the pleasure of interviewing Will Rodriguez from Briggs Wealth Management.
All right.
About 30 minutes, and we're going to dig right in. I found interesting in your story, your entrepreneurial experience. You started your first business at age 12, and that resonated with me. I delivered papers at 12 and decided I had a captive market. So here in Buffalo, New York, we get snow. So I ended up signing contracts for snow and then cutting the grass in the summer. But I want to know about you. How has your entrepreneurial experience impacted your work in financial planning?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, as you kind of stated, it kind of true. I've come from entrepreneurial family. My dad was, self-employed for the greater part of, my childhood growing up. So that kind of, triggered some entrepreneurial spirits, for myself. I started detailing cars when I was 12 as a way to, make money to buy shoes and things like that. And I think it even started maybe even before that in elementary school, where a friend of mine would set up a space in his garage to sell baseball cards.
Cool. So, and it's super cool not to have to ask parents for that little bit of money that you needed when you're 12, 13, or 14.
Yeah, absolutely. And it kind of just carried out, throughout, high school and college, and led to me wanting to get into, the financial services field. Once I graduated with my undergrad, and I've kind of have in the industry for 15 years or so.
Okay. Yeah, see, you went from a large multinational firm and you ultimately joined Briggs Wealth Management in 2019. What drew you to Briggs?
Well, the opportunity, kind of came up, without even, I wasn't really even pursuing on leaving the firm that I was with previously, but I was ready for the next, stage and growth of my career. And, what Briggs Wealth Management was doing was something just, unique, where I've never, been at a firm that was doing what Briggs is doing, right now. So a large part of that is a focus on, tax planning and integrating into financial planning.
Is it when you said you've never been a firm that does what Briggs does, is that what you were alluding to, the tax planning?
Correct, yes.
So obviously you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Tell me the negatives. Tell me about the challenges you find in that sector.
In terms of what I'm doing now?
Yes.
Some of the challenges are just, that's a great question, because, every day is a new day. There's always challenges, every day with what you're dealing with. I say most of the challenges that you deal with is just maybe from an industry perspective, dealing with, some of these, larger companies, dealing with their, delayed customer service and things like that. Making sure you're talking to someone to get the correct information, because, we're playing middleman in between, where accounts are housed sometimes, and relaying that information to clients and interpreting it and trying to make decisions for them and help them make decisions and recommendations. So that's sometimes a challenge.
So is that pretty much an industry challenge? What would you say to a younger guy getting in the financial planning business, how to handle that challenge?
I would say you always need to, second guess what you're told. You always want to make sure that, you're getting the right information. So I've kind of built that up, over time, and just being, exposed to different parts of the industry where, you always need to make sure the information you're getting is correct. And you always need to kind of second guess yourself to make sure that the information's right.
And I see you've done well at that. You joined the firm in 2019 and you're already, you're a leader in the company. Tell me your story. Give me.
Absolutely. I'd say I'm sort of we have a great team here. It's a team of 5 of us. I'm certainly a lead, planner here. I'm not responsible for business development or anything like that, but more so, helping, with the financial planning aspect of what goes on, in the firm. Okay. Part of my career, when I graduated with my MBA back in 2012, I was luckily enough to get into Morgan Stanley's, financial planning wealth advisory program, where I got to work with, about 30 different advisors, and solely focusing on financial planning. So that kind of gave me that, strength and background for what I have and what I do. So that kind of, it's a natural progression to where I am now with, given my experiences.
Okay, yeah, I see that you do have experience in real estate, mortgage, and
Right. Yeah. I sold real estate and did mortgages while I was in grad school. So it kind of gave me exposure to those markets, and it kind of goes hand in hand with, decision making with clients. Clients have, real estate holdings. They either are looking to pay down a mortgage or looking to, apply for a refinance, things like that. When they come up in conversations, I'm well versed in, which direction a client should be going.
right. And growth. Well, how would you, if I was an RIA and I had the firm and I said, give me two keys on growth. What's your advice? The two best things, the two most important things that I could do as an RIA to grow.
I would say streamlining your processes and procedures,
Okay.
making sure that there's scalability there, because you want to be able to have these things happen, with a flick of a light switch where you're not second guessing, who's doing what and why, and making sure that, from soup to nuts, A to Z, from a new client onboarding to ongoing client management, there's documented procedures along the way to help you grow.
That's great. And I guess one other thing is we probably need a Maggie May for security and for office help like you guys have.
Yeah, that's the principal's dog.
Let me tell our audience, Maggie May is literally on their website as security and office helper. So you got to have a cute little dog in the office to get things done, or else you're just not going to grow. So just tell me some thoughts. You've had a diverse background, real estate. What do you wish you knew when you got into financial planning that you know now? But what do you wish you had, advanced knowledge of?
That's a great question. You kind of have to go through the process of self-discovery and figuring out, where in this field where you'd like to end up, because you need to kind of touch a lot of different avenues to get exposure to different things, to be able to have that confidence and decision-making ability to, navigate clients through, their big life decisions.
Okay. And so what do you believe, what sets Briggs apart?
Well, we have a unique approach to, financial planning where we incorporate tax planning into the mix, where we're actually doing client tax returns. So you kind of see hand in hand, the implication on the decisions that you need to make to help clients, reach their goals.
Oh, so what does that look like when you take a client on board? That's one of the things. Is that required? If you say, look,
it's not necessarily a requirement. It's more of a, an added benefit, for us to do their tax return. And it helps from, an income plan or retirement income planning standpoint too, where, are they withholding properly, for all of their income streams, making sure that, they're not dealt with a large tax bill, or, are we liquidating certain positions and doing the right thing from a tax perspective? Is there capital gains? Is there any losses that we can trigger? And, we have, hand in that control. I don't think, a lot of firms, do that. They may work closely with CPAs and other accounting offices, but now you're dealing with, third party, partners, and not having that ability to do it, in-house is, I think, a key advantage into what it is that we do. And I can see it clearly. I've worked at wirehouses. I've worked on the bank channels. I've worked for hybrid, independents. And now I'm, on the RA side, and to be able to have that capability where you're handling, both sides, it's almost a game changer.
Cool. So, that word fiduciary, it means one thing, but to a lot of companies, it means something else. And to a lot of individuals, tell me what it means to you personally. And then tell me what
it's just always making sure you're doing the right thing for the client, right? You sit at the same side of the table, making sure that you're doing the best thing for their situation.
Okay. And, some people fail at that, but obviously based on the growth and based on their client.
Yeah, no, and I have nothing to say about, anyone that works in any type of channel whatsoever, to each his own. But, when we're on this side of the fence, it kind of takes any conflict of interest out of the equation immediately.
You've done well. In fact, that's how we got sent to you in the beginning. What is the most challenging? Back to the challenges, because we like our audience to hear the good and the bad. So about getting a new client or introducing a new client to your different way of doing things. Tell me what's the challenge in educating that client? That you find?
Well, I mean, we take, a pretty wide, comprehensive approach to what we do here. And it's always laid out in the early stages, in client introductory meetings or what have you. And we get to know our clients very intimately here, where we want to know every aspect of their financial life. It's pretty thorough and comprehensive, so it can get overwhelming, probably for some clients. Otherwise, clients are ready to get fully engaged. Most of the clients that are new are on a referral basis, so there's not too much. We don't need to upsell who we are and what we can do for a client. Most of the time, clients have that expectation of what they're looking for, and we're just reassuring that we can deliver that and beyond.
Okay. So in other words, listen to the client, help them out, and continue to help them out.
Right. Exactly. And it's a natural progression. I mean, it's a lot of people can say, oh, well, we can give you a financial plan, but the buck doesn't stop there. It takes a while to actually get that up and running for a client. Everyone's busy in their everyday life. It would be great if, we can get, all the documentation we need with the flip of a switch. But, in reality, it comes in dribs and drabs, and, and that's okay. And that's fine, and we're making sure we're addressing all the hot buttons that need to be addressed. And we're building out the plan, in the background. And I'd say it takes, anywhere from 8 months to a year to actually get one in place, if you really think about it, if you're really handling every aspect for every client.
I'm curious, what's your AUM today or this month?
We are a little north of 200 million.
Okay.
And we have about, I would say, a little over 105 clients, households.
Wow, good. And then you mentioned scalability, so I'm sure you guys are ensuring that you're scalable as well. And that's a good point that you're thinking forward. You're able to scale in that nature, and that's great. So outside of your professional life, I know I saw you enjoy spending time with your family, traveling and reading. Any books or authors that had a significant impact on your approach to financial planning?
That's a great question. I read a lot of business related books, biographies, things like that.
Okay.
I don't say that there's the one, particular book that's, changed things, but I would say, I read a lot of professional development books. You start with your basics, like, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, things like that. I wouldn't say that there's one key book. I always just try to add books to the library to continuous reading.
Makes so much sense. Interestingly enough, I saw today somebody associated with a company, as a matter of fact, the founder of ClickFunnels. He bought their complete collection of original Napoleon Hill things.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've read that.
He spent like $3 million. I mean, he got things that were written before Think and Grow Rich, and original manuscripts that went to Think and Grow Rich that were signed by Napoleon Hill. And I mean, videos that were done, the old camera, and it looks like, the flashing. And I mean, he got the whole package. And I thought that was interesting when he was speaking to the guy about buying them. He said, yeah, I don't know how to fly out. The guy said, well, everything won't fit in a plane. So he's got the ultimate collection of Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich.
Oh, wow.
17 Secrets of Success, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And you
those are
mentioned
great
to travel. Tell me, favorite places to travel?
I don't know if you can tell by the painting in the background, but that's a painting of the Pelham Bridge in Newport, Rhode Island. So I definitely like to travel. I was going to ask you what bridge was
it. I couldn't figure it out. I'm going, it's not the Verrazano. It's not the Golden Gate.
Yeah.
All right. So ultimately, this is about you guys. This is a podcast. Our listeners, our audience is going to learn about you. Open the doors to you for a moment. And what would you like our listeners to know most about Will Rodriguez and then about Briggs, your company?
I mean, that's a great question. I'm not pretty much a seller by any means, but
sure.
I like to think that, anything we do here is, beyond what a traditional firm would do. We were always taking the extra mile, under promising and over delivering is probably the biggest thing. We always want to make sure that, we're always doing the right thing for the client and taking that extra step and the extra mile. And I personally, I like to make sure people are treated in the way that they need to be treated and getting the service that they need.
And that is a company philosophy as well, I'm sure.
I've got a great mentor and coach and principal here, Mark Briggs. So he's certainly is, sets a pillar in terms of, the standards that we need to kind of continuously to do and provide for our clients. So.
Okay, now back to you. Obviously, when you joined Briggs, you were interested in them, but they were interested in you as well. Do you recall what your major selling point was to them? What about you made them go, hey?
I think it's just, my built up experience in terms of what I bring to the table from a financial planning perspective. I've touched on, probably $750 million in terms of AUM, worked on financial plans for that amount of, assets. And my exposure to, seeing different things and working with, different types of planners and advisors in the industry. So I know the game, and it's certainly advantageous for where I was in my particular transition point that, I'm in the right place now.
That's great to hear. That's good. It's always good to be there. So how can my audience get in touch with you? Here's time for your shameless plug.
You can find us at our website, briggswealthmgmt.com. Contact information's there.
Is there a direct number to reach you on?
Yeah. Will at briggswealthmgmt.com. Phone number is 860-633-8988.
Okay. Is that directly to you, or is that the general?
That's just the office line. Yeah.
Okay. Then follow the prompts to get to Will.
Hey, they can just ask for Will, or they can ask for Mark. Either one.
Will, do you have an ideal client? Do you have an ideal persona that?
So yeah, our ideal client, has investable assets of at least $1 million. Okay.
Okay. At any age, you looking? It doesn't matter, or close to retirement, or.
No, but we want to work with clients that appreciate the service that we provide and are just willing to partner with us in their journey, more or less.
Great. So this really is just a kind of get to know Will. It's low pressure conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And even if you have a question of me, feel free to ask. We don't have to use all the time. We have about 10 minutes left. If you have any questions of me, I'm more than happy to ask.
Absolutely. So. What is it that you do with the RA podcast?
Well, we're going to air it, but not sure when. You'll get an email, let you know the date. They fix it up and make it look really pretty and get you all the information. It's going to be everywhere: Spotify, YouTube, you name it. It's going to be there. And we are an RIA. My CEO, Seth Green, has a financial planning background, and it's really informational. It's really to get the word to people that need and use RIAs, the people that influence RIAs, the people that influence the people that RIAs want to talk to. So, it gives you the ability to reach out and to speak to many more people. And that's why we're here. And we learn, we listen, we hear from you guys. You guys are the front lines. You tell us what it takes. That's why I ask the challenge questions. I want to learn what about the challenges. Everybody knows the good stuff.
Right. Yeah.
You hear about the nitty gritty. And speaking of anything you care to add on the challenges or the kind of the nitty gritty? I know for me, I hate paperwork, so I use the pile system and not the file system. So that's my challenge.
The paperwork, I guess, it comes along with the territory, right? It is what it is. We all dream to go to a very paperless, society, but the finance industry is slowly getting there, and we want it to be slow that way. You deal with a lot of cybersecurity issues and things like that come up. So you always want to make sure that everything is extra secure on all aspects.
Speaking of the cybersecurity and the stuff, things that are going on now, how do you guys address that? What do you guys do to?
We do have a third-party technology firm that we work with that closely monitors all that stuff. And all of the email communication when we're sending, personal information. That's always, securely sent to clients. When we're accessing third-party sites, there's always like a two-factor authentication now with things, which is great. It has that extra layer of security, so it's always top of mind. Yeah. I got a question for you, Carl. How did you guys find me and Briggs Wealth Management? How did that?
I believe that someone from your firm maybe was on the RIA podcast. I believe. Don't quote me on it, but I believe so.
Yeah, I don't know. I got an email from Seth about being curious, and that would just connected us. I just wasn't.
Oh no, you
sure how.
So no, you're an RIA that came on our radar as doing. We want to talk to you because you do a good job. If you got the email from Seth, that's what it was. If you got one from me, it was because somebody had been on a previous podcast.
Got it. All right.
And, because he's in the financial planning background, he's got insight to the industry. And this is for you. Once we get it all prettied up and ready for you, it airs.
Oh, interesting. Cool.
So it'll be a great thing.
Yeah.
We'll be in touch. If anything we can help you with, certainly reach out. And once again, I'll share with my audience. And we get about 11,000 downloads a week. So share with my audience again how to reach you.
Yeah. You can find me at my email, will@briggswealthmgmt.com. Our website is briggswealthmgmt.com, and phone number is 860-633-8988.
Okay. And one final question. Since you're in New England, are you a Patriot fan?
I'm not a Patriots fan. I'm a New York Giants fan.
Really?
Yes.
Hey, how long have you been at Briggs? You guys don't have health care? Because you need counseling. You got to be a Bills fan, man.
I don't tell me about it. Mark's a Dallas Cowboy fan, so we
Oh, God, that's even worse.
we have our weekly talks.
As you can see, I went to Buffalo Bills University. So go Bills this week, and go Giants. We don't mind the Giants.
Yeah.
This has been it was a pleasure talking to you.
Absolutely.
Give my contact number and email address. Give me any questions at any time. Reach out. And I'll reach back out to you from time to time with
sounds good. Appreciate it. Appreciate your time.
It's been a pleasure. Appreciate your time. Thank you, and have a great day.
Thanks. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
49 faces looked to him in triumph. Over the last 12 months, they had each taken turns and promoted his business for a week at a time, driving over $987,342 in revenue. What if you had a network of 50 centers of influence who promoted your business every week for a year? Grab your copy of the #1 Amazon best-selling book, The Ultimate Guide to Growing Your Business with a Podcast, at 33% off the Amazon price by going to ultimatepodcastbook.com. Again, that website for 33% off the Amazon price is ultimatepodcastbook.com.